behind me we have my new truck, or actually what was supposed to be my new truck. So let's find out why I didn't take this as my next vehicle for, well, personal, for the family, as well as for the channel. All the good, all the bad of why we didn't take this as our new truck. And stay tuned, subscribe, to find out what vehicle we did take as our new truck, our new vehicle, and why we took it as our new vehicle as opposed to this. So let's jump right into it. I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button and turn bell notifications on to not miss our video on what we actually did get instead of this Ford Ranger Raptor, which is a pretty big deal. Let's check it out. Now, please don't get this wrong. I'm not saying that the Ford Ranger Raptor is bad in many ways. I'm not even saying it's bad in a few ways. I'm just saying that it's not right for me. And it might not be right for you either. And that's why watching this video could be very valuable, because it'll help you figure out if this vehicle, the Ford Ranger Raptor, is the right truck for you. It's a mid-sized truck, so let's keep all that in mind. Let's cover all its pros and its cons, go through the highs and the lows and the real reasons why we didn't get it. And a lot of that comes down to, well, in the no category, we've got price. And it's not about its initial starting price, because this has great value compared to other Raptor products. You know, the Ford Bronco Raptor, tens of thousands of dollars more. The F-150 Raptor, tens of thousands of dollars more. You know, we're talking about 83,000 Canadian for the Ranger Raptor, 126 for the Bronco, and 111,000 if you take the F-150 Raptor with the panoramic roof, which the Ranger Raptor can't have, which is a bit of a downside. We like to get the sun. And the no category, we've got interior, we've got the stance. When you compare it to an F-150, it is considerably visually smaller. Not sure how I feel about that. And we've got the resale value. So a lot comes down to price, the interior, and no, the interior looks amazing, high quality interior. However, as you can see in this video, high quality interior, love the mixing of the materials, very modern, love the touchscreen, love the feeling of the seats, super comfortable, steering wheel, love so many things about this interior, but space, not so great. And in the yes category, well, both Marie and I both absolutely love the looks. I love the exhaust, love the suspension, love the motor, love the capability, and the fun factor, the FF. The F factor is very high. The fun factor is a pure 10 out of 10. It's, I'd say, the best in its category, or, you know, pretty much tied for first place. But the fact that this has a twin turbo 6-cylinder 3-liter engine actually does put it in first place. Let's talk about those specifications. And as we talk about the specifications of what makes this vehicle great, and in certain ways not so great for my situation, and it might not be so great for your situation, follow through. We'll go through all the specs. Just before starting, please do subscribe, turn the bell notifications on, because, well, almost all our viewers are new viewers who aren't subscribed. So we'd love to have you back, and you'll get to find out when you subscribe and turn bell notifications on. You're going to see what we did buy instead of this, and a lot of it comes down to price, resale value, and interior. Because we got something that has incredible value. Not so sure about future value on this. So let's first talk about price. We're talking about 83,000 Canadian, significantly less than any other Raptor product on the market from Ford. And yes, the Raptor products from Ford are incredible with their Fox suspension. They drive incredibly. They're go everywhere and anywhere toys. I prefer the turning radius on this far more than an F-150. So the starting price is fantastic, but the interest rates, you're gonna have to go through a bank for the interest rate, and you can't lease this. When I originally ordered and waited over a year for our Raptor that we're not taking possession of, and it sold actually pretty quickly. Mind you, other Raptors on the market have been sitting on dealer lots for months, and that is something that scared me. So resale value, you look at the Bronco Raptor, and after a year in my area, they're selling for about $18,000 less than window sticker. This is likely a vehicle that I would have kept for 1 year, And I'd be worried that the 1 year of ownership would cost me $18,000 possibly if I sold it myself. And if I traded in, which I probably will, it would cost more like $22,000 for 1 year of ownership. As fun and as incredible as a Ranger Raptor is, that resale value is something that definitely scared me. Now the starting price of $83,000 doesn't scare me at all. I think that's a steal of a deal. It's an incredible bargain, but I have to finance through a bank. So that's signing up for what, over $20,000 of interest if ever I were to keep the vehicle. And we already have the Shelby on payments, the Mustang GT 350 Shelby. So that was already on payments. Having another vehicle that's high on payments and not sure about resale value, that put it in the no category. Now let's talk about what makes this truck incredible. Well, first of all, it's a body on frame. So it's a real truck. It's got the body is attached to a full frame, a real frame, and that's a fully boxed in frame. So that's the best for off-road. You've got a very solid construction. Mind you, the vehicle we did pick, we'll talk about its frame as well, and it is a bit more of a interesting frame for the long term. Now, all Rangers only come in the Super Crew format. So if you're waiting for a regular cab or a super cab, forget about it. Not for this generation. And they are made in Michigan. So they're USA made in the Wayne assembly plant. The configuration here, what we've got for an engine is a 3-liter EcoBoost V6. Quite powerful, 405 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque with a tune from Ford Performance that doesn't even cost that much. You're up to 536 pound-feet of torque and about 455 horsepower. So a monster of a motor. And boy, can I ever tell you, the exhaust sounds incredible. And this is a motor I have a lot of faith in. High reliability. They use it in the Explorer ST and the Lincoln Aviator. So you're not going to have any issues. You don't have to worry or stress about the quality of this motor. And speaking of not having to stress about the quality of the motor, well, the block is pretty incredible. It's compacted graphite iron block. That's like the 6.7 liter diesel in the Super Duty. Unbreakable block. You've got aluminum heads. So incredible twin turbocharged intercooled V6 engine. You will not be disappointed there whatsoever. Now the valve train, you've got dual overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder, twin independent variable camshaft timing. Love camshaft timing. That's variable because what that means is you've got a vehicle that the camshaft positioning can change. So you've got, you maximize your potential for power, but you can also maximize the fuel efficiency out of the motor because of the variable camshaft timing. You've got coil on plug as the ignition type. That's what I just added to the Toyota MR2. Spent a pretty penny to do it, and coil on plug is the way to go. You've got bore and stroke 3.36 by 3.38 inches. Displacement, you've got, well, with these 3-liter engines, we're not talking about a big old 5-liter. It's 180 cubic inch motor. You've got compression ratio at 10.5 to 1. This requires 91 octane. That's not on my naughty list. That would not have bothered me that much. I'm used to putting in the Porsche 911s that we have, the two. They require actually 93 octane as a minimum, and we dish out the money to get 94 octane. So no big deal with this being a 91 octane vehicle, but take note, your regular 2.7 liter, let's say you get an XLT Ford Ranger, and you save quite a bit of money and you get it as an FX4, or you wait for maybe the hopefully upcoming Tremor model with a 2.7 liter V6 twin turbo, still very powerful, and you can be running 87 octane gas. So if spending money on gas is something that bothers you, this isn't the right vehicle for you. Recommended fuel, 91 octane with a fuel capacity of 20.3 gallons. For fuel delivery, I really like this about this engine. Both port fuel, that's the kind of old school way of delivering fuel to a vehicle, and direct injection. Direct injection is the new way at, roughly a little over 3,000 pounds of pressure. The fuel's squirted directly into the cylinder, creates a little tick, 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 tick noise off the motor. Don't worry, it's not gonna blow. That's normal with direct injection, but direct injection is messy injection. It creates carbon buildup on the motor unless you have port fuel injection as well. So port fuel injection is used when the motor is cold, and that is when When the motor is cold, port injection will, if there is any carbon buildup whatsoever, it will, from the direct injection, it will get cleaned out from the port fuel injection, which is more at the top of the motor. So it cleans everything up, and really things won't be getting dirty from the direct injection because it's not used when it would be getting things dirty. And that's when the engine is just, you know, when you first start it up and the engine is cold. So power without the tune, 405 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. That's fun factor right there. The layout of this drivetrain is 4x4 electromechanical transfer case with electronic locking front and rear differentials. Boy, will you ever have fun in the snow, the mud, the sand, when you can lock up your front diff and your rear diff, meaning lock your front diff, those front tires turn at the same speed. It's kind of like going into full out tractor mode. You've got to go everywhere, have fun anywhere machine. Attached to a 10-speed automatic transmission, like the F-150, like the Bronco, or some earlier problems when this was in its first generation for this transmission, but everything is worked out. I don't suspect, and I don't really see any problems when we're talking about 23, 24 models. So not an issue there, in my opinion, whatsoever, based on my experiences. And I do like that the Ranger Raptor has not just a 2 high and a 4 high and a 4 low mode. 4 low is when you want all 4 wheels to turn at the same speed. You need to be driving in a straight line and at a very slow speed. Good for rock crawl mode or going through the woods and muddy fields. But if you need to be turning, you're going to be playing between 2 high, 4 high. Not a huge fan of that, like on all the other Ranger Raptor, Ford Rangers. I like how the Ranger Raptor has a 4 automatic mode, which means you put it in 4A and you forget it. The computer controls everything. It'll be a rear wheel drive truck to save fuel, but it takes milliseconds for the truck to decide to send the power to the front wheels. And it really will be a kind of drive everywhere, anywhere mode. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to pick your terrain selector. It'll take care of it all. And speaking of terrain, for your crawl ratio, you've got a 61.59 to 1 ratio. So a very good crawl ratio. You can definitely go rock crawling with this truck. And as you can see right here, turning radius, even when the back end isn't sliding out and kicking up dust or kicking up dirt, you've got a great turning circle curb to curb of 43.3 feet. I love that. That's a huge pro. That's big time win in the yes list. 10 out of 10 turning. You can drive this around the city and enjoy it and not, you know, an F-150. The full-size trucks, all the full-size trucks, Toyota Tundra, the Ram 1500, the GMC, the Chevrolet 1500s, or a Ford F-150 in the city are often not the most fun. It's a little hard to navigate. It's a little harder to get around a parking lot, get into your parking spot. Super easy parking out of the Ranger. Very much enjoyed my test drive on the XLT as well as on the Lariat. Now the truck I ordered, I didn't get to test drive it because it got sold before I got to take it home. So that's a little disappointing, but I've had an F-150 Raptor before. I've had 3 Broncos. Wildtrak has a Fox suspension on it as well. The Wildtrak Bronco that we got rid of to get our new vehicle for the channel. So stay tuned for that. So I can imagine after driving a Ranger XLT and Lariat as well, I can imagine what driving this would have been like. A little bit of a mix, a lot like my Bronco, I would think. And we have jumped the Bronco. We've had a lot of fun with the Bronco. Now, steering, speaking of, you know, driving around in the city, driving around in tight spots, the steering is electric power assisted, rack and pinion, and the ratios, I do believe, adapt to the speed you're going at, because when I drive Rangers, it would appear that it's great at low speeds and it's also great at high speeds. So let's look further into that. Anyone has the definitive answer, drop it into the comment section, please. We would love to cover that on the channel and make sure that we've got that as a 100% fact right there. Now, for the brakes, good. Disc brakes all around with advanced track, electronic stability control. So go everywhere, go anywhere. And yes, it has a lot of power, but if you stomp on it in too high mode, the back end isn't going to completely lose control and slide out of the place and have you crash into the woods because of the advanced track electronic stability control being excellent technology. Ford, remember, used to own Volvo, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Aston Martin, and I can tell you they definitely took a few lessons and a little bit of programming and tweaked it from their computing systems for the 4x4 and 4 automatic systems. So you've got a really good off-road machine with a lot of intelligent tech in that. Now, I'm not going to go through all the dimensions, but I think important things to note: wheelbase 128.7 inches, overall length 210.9 inches, and overall width 86.7 inches, which it puts this in the yes and no category, pro and a con. This is more maneuverable, it's more livable in the city, and it's even on the trails in between trees. It's so much more livable. However, you park it beside an F-150 and it looks kind of small. It's beefy, it's got a muscular look, but it does look a little bit small beside an F-150 and tiny beside a Super Duty. And we've got a lot of F-150 and Super Duties in our areas. And I guess my ego's just too big. I have trouble having kind of a small truck. As cool as it looks, and I could have definitely gotten over that factor if Ford would lease these vehicles or finance these vehicles. A regular Ranger, an XLT Lariat, is currently at 4.99% financing. Well, if I have to go with at a bank at about 7 to 9%, I could have gotten 7%. I've got really good credit, so I could have gotten 6.99% financing from a bank for this Ranger, but that's still 7%. And I don't get an employee price when I buy this. I don't get any rebate whatsoever. So I did worry about resale a year down the road, and that's what dropped this into the no category. Many of the reasons here. Now, the overall height is 75.9 inches. So very similar to the Bronco. Good height, just a little less than an F-150, a little less high, just less of a stance on the vehicle. And now, seating capacity, you've got 5. Headroom, 39.8 inches. Those were not issues whatsoever. But talking about seating capacity, the back seat is excellent for adults, and the front seats are incredible. No matter what you're driving through, taking those bumps, those jumps, crawling over rocks, the seats really do a fantastic job of supporting you, holding you in place. The seats are 9.5 out of 10 in the front. The back, they're fine for a truck. They're nothing to write home about. They're not, captain chairs in the back or anything. But rear facing baby seat, pretty darn tight, and makes it that, we have to advance the passenger seat, and then getting in and out of the passenger seat, I don't like that at all. My knee hits the dash like on the Bronco. This is not great for a young family when the kids are still in those rear facing baby seats, and that also pushed this into the no category. So it was price, and it was also about interior, not the quality of the interior. The quality of the interior is incredible. The seats are up front are incredibly comfortable, and that's where I would have been spending my time behind the wheel. I would have loved driving this every single day. But I would have absolutely loathed ever getting stuck in the passenger seat. And Marie is almost as tall as me. Marie is not 6 foot, but she's about 5'9", 5'9.5". So it's not great for the wife either, sitting in the passenger seat. She also had to be careful not to destroy a kneecap on the dash getting in and out due to the baby seat. We're not going to uninstall the baby seat, every Sunday night so that I can go back and forth to work and not have issues. Now, payload is less. Take note, this might be a no category for some, didn't bother me at all, but it has less payload than your regular Ford Ranger. It's got 1,375 pounds of payload, so definitely less than your regular Ranger. And your box here is 59.6 inches. That's going to be an issue for some, not an issue for us at all. But what we ended up getting does have a little more space for if we head down to Florida. If we drive down to Florida, it definitely will be more appropriate for us. So don't forget, subscribe, turn the bell notifications on to find out what we did buy and why we bought it, because that will be something, if you like trading vehicles and you follow me on that purchase, you'll definitely be setting yourself up for future success. Now, the towing on this, your cargo capacity 43.5, but towing, I believe towing is a little less. You've got 5,510 pounds of towing instead of your regular Ranger, 7,500 pounds. So with the price difference, I'd almost be tempted if they worked with the baby seat, or let's say later on when the baby seat is no longer rear facing and is front facing, what I am thinking is that maybe I'll go for a Ranger, not so Raptor, but a Tremor or an FX4 XLT and save the $30,000, because at the end of the day, I don't really want to get rid of the Mustang GT350 Shelby in order to comfortably own the Ranger Raptor. And yeah, always that resale. So maybe I'll pick one up down the road. If they do depreciate by, after year one by about $16,000 or $18,000, even by $15,000, I'll be tempted to then buy a Ranger Raptor if the banks also lower their interest rates. So maybe in, 2 years down the road, if interest rates are through the bank are 2 to 3% lower, I would definitely jump on a Ranger Raptor. And let's say in 2-3 years, I can get a Ranger Raptor for $20,000, $25,000 less than they are now, with roughly 4.99% interest through the bank or less. I'll jump all over a Ranger Raptor. But until then, I find the capability of this vehicle so tempting. The comfort, really tempting. The Fox shocks are just out of this world. They're forged aluminum. For your front suspension, you got forged aluminum double A-arm suspension with 2.5-inch Fox live valve shocks. The Bronco Wildtrak had the 3-inch, if I recall correctly. So I expect this suspension to have been quite incredible, because I loved it on the Wildtrak. And you've also got in the rear the Watts Link rear suspension with trailing arms and 2.5-inch Fox live valve shocks. So I've had Fox live valve shocks on the 2019 Ford F-150 Raptor, and that thing was a total blast to drive. I could drive on the worst mountain pass dirt roads with tons of bumps and just not illegally speeding, but let's call it speeding, like driving very quickly over those bumps, going through fields, taking air. Lots of fun, huge fun factor, 10 out of 10 on the F-150. But then, the F-150s, they almost start to get a little too long for the bit of city driving I do have to drive. So suspension, big win. Exhaust, huge win. 10 out of 10 suspension, 10 out of 10 exhaust, 10 out of 10 motor. So many reasons to buy this amazing mid-sized truck. But when it comes down to it, in conclusion, it's a no because of the price, not so much because of the starting price. It's an incredible bargain. That's why I ordered it, but I can't lease and I have to finance at a high interest rate. I'm not in a position to pay cash. So that made it fall into the no category. The no's are stronger than the yeses on this one. The interior does not work with the rear-facing baby seat. The stance, if I'm going to have bigger payments than I would on a bigger truck, hint, hint, why? Why when I'd end up with a smaller stance than the bigger truck? So the bigger truck ends up being a better buy for me, at least. And the resale of this vehicle, well, I'm looking in my area, Bronco Raptors for 2023s being down at 100 instead of 126, used at 100, and any 23s that are still available on the Bronco Raptor, dealers are offering, several $1,000s off even when they're new. I'm thinking the Ranger Raptor won't have the resale value that makes it so that I can, switch every year. And I find that's important for my personal enjoyment and for the channel as well. Now, please, in the comment section, maybe you disagree with me completely. Maybe you've got your own reasons for buying or not buying or liking or not liking the Ford Ranger Raptor, please let us know in the comments section. I'd love to hear your opinion, and I'd love to get a little discussion going in our car community here at Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. If you have made it this far, please hit the like button and drop a comment. At least, if you don't have anything really that you want to say, I'd love to know though that you made it this far. Drop finisher as a comment, and please don't be shy. Let us know what you think of this vehicle. Thank you so very much for watching and supporting this small family business. Until next time, I wish you all more cars and more power. Take care and stay safe out there, folks.